You told a story about a kangaroo cleaning you up in a car, and you hopped out of the car, you said.
I like that. It's good.
So you identified pretty well with the kangaroo in that stage, and you survived. But what the meaning of a trauma, or bad things, or neglect, good things not happening, the meaning, how does that play out, how you see it for
Well,
someone?
meaning is a hard place to find. Like, before we get to meaning, there's got to be some level of understanding who I am in the process. If I've been traumatised, can I use an example?
Yeah, do.
Many years ago, I used to play sport, football, cricket, racquetball, squash. And after I had an accident, an industrial accident, where I fell 9 metres onto a concrete floor, I was in hospital for a time. It took me 3 years to get back to reasonable strength in my body. It took me 12 months before I could lift a litre of milk in my hand. In that time, our daughter was born. So when my wife wanted to get me hold, I had to lay on the floor. I couldn't lift her and hold her in my arms. So I had to lay on the floor and place her on my chest, and I'd hold her like that. If she slipped off to the side, I could lift it with my left hand, but I couldn't with my right arm. So it got difficult for a while, but I had to adjust. I had to adapt. But one of the biggest things that was a stumbling block and it got me stuck was I'm a less of a person because of this. And even worse still, I wasn't just a less of a person I couldn't go back to building because I was a carpenter. I couldn't go back to racquetball, but that caused me to question who I was as a person in everything. So one of the key things about finding meaning and getting to a level of acceptance after a trauma, I believe, is helping us come to grips with who we are as a person. That's how I see it. What about you? How do you see it?
Well, you got to some level of acceptance and adaptation to what had happened to you. But what I've noticed also is that some people don't get to that. They get very bitter and angry because they were wanting to get back to how they were, but that's not possible. And so they've gone down being very angry at the world themselves, the whole system maybe. And the bitterness just chews away at them. It's like a low level rage at the injustice or the unfairness of what's happened to them.
Can relate to that.
Yeah. So, but some people manage to get to a point, it's like accepting the unacceptable and not letting it drag them down. They just, in like post-traumatic growth, they take another direction with the changes that they've had to adapt to, rather than just be stuck with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rightio.